ABC Sports presents live from Phoenix, Arizona, the Professional Bowlers Tour. Today from Fairlanes, Squaw Peak, we kick off our three-city spring tour, the $150,000 A&W Pro Bowlers Classic. Here are today's 5 finalists. In a first match, a 5-time PBA champion from Milwaukee, Oregon, Dave Houston. His opponent is the reigning PBA Player of the Year, the talented Marshall Holman. The winner will meet Miami's Rod Pasteur, hoping to win his first PBA title. In the semifinal game will be a strong throwing Texan. Also looking for his first PBA victory, Philip Ringener. Our tournament leader has 12 PBA championships to his credit. The huge left-hander from California, Steve Cook. That's our field today on the Professional Bowlers Tour telecast. And yes, these Fairlanes are in the shadow of magnificent Squaw Peak here in the southwest desert city of Phoenix, Arizona. An enthusiastic crowd all week. We're delighted to be back. We haven't been here for bowling in about 20 years. I'm Chris Schenkel. And what a field we have for you today. And the 3 United States Open champions, 2 non-winners. There are 2 left-handers for those of you that bowl from that side. So a lot of variety, a lot of interesting competition. 17 times he won PBA titles. Here he is, my colleague, Nelson Burton Jr. Bo.
Thank you, Chris. I was here 20 years ago when we had that tournament in 1968. And I came back here about a month ago and bowled a few practice games. And not much has changed at Fairlane Squaw Peak Lanes. The lane surface was very smooth back then. It's very smooth now. That allows the players to get to the pocket easily. One thing is a little bit different out here in Phoenix. There's not much humidity, and the pin action is very fast. The pins go flying all different directions, but there's a real premium on the solid hit. You carry it almost every time. Now, as Chris said, there's 3 U.S. Open champions in the finals field. And you know when Dick Ricker won this tournament, he won $6,000 in 1968. And, Chris, there's a lot more money at stake for the players today. Let's take a look at it.
All right, there you see the winner can get $27,000, and if one wins the tournament today, Marshall Holman, he will break Mark Roth's all-time money-winning record of over $1,300,000. But he has 4 games in which to do it. A formidable first opponent and a 5-time winner from Milwaukee, Oregon, Dave Houston. There he is, one of the most popular professional athletes anywhere. 6'2", 165 pounds. So he has put the pressure right on Marshall Holman, winner of 21 titles, 2 United States Opens. This is his 93rd television appearance. So, Bo, we have really gotten to know him.
Marshall Holman, great player, can, as you said, become bowling's all-time leading money winner if he can win today.
So smooth. So intense. And so much talent. So he'll move to the left lane now, hoping to double and take a 10-pin lead. Our first match.
The winner of this match, Holman or Houston, is going to be very tough to beat. The form on them is if they get by the first game, they keep rolling. They're very talented athletes, but their momentum players can shoot some very big scores.
Marshall's last win was the Bowlers Journal Open in Venice from the 5th seed. 10-pin left lane.
Holman a little discouraged by that hit. We said that the solid hit is usually rewarded in this bowling center, and not too happy with that because he left the solid 10. Holman cuts down the big hook ball by just spinning the ball. A little bit different method than some of the other players use. Watch this release. Goes right over the top of it. No hook. Very accurate.
Here's a man that wears his emotions on his face. Believe me, you always know how he feels. Very bright young man, and so is Dave Houston. And a neat high backswing. And now he'll have to call on some split shooting talent, Bo.
An unusual split, Chris. The ball comes in very light, and the ball hits the head pin, and normally the 2, 4, 8, 10 will be standing. Watch it. There's the 2, 4, 8, 10. A pin comes flying back by, takes out the 2 pin, makes it a little bit easier. He has to fit the 4 on the left side, into the 8, into the 10. Ooh.
So it's a disastrous open frame early in our very, very first match. The winner of this game, if you just joined us, will meet Rod Pasteur. He is from Miami now, and then after that it will be Philip Ringener of Big Springs, Texas, West Texas, and our tournament leader is the big left-hander from California, Steve Cook. Mike Marshall, a solid 10 on the left.
Houston, a great all-around athlete in high school. He was a high school basketball player, a 6 handicap golfer, and just a wonderful talent, and he's carried that over into the bowling game.
Houston checking his slide line on the left lane. He won the United States Open in 1982 in Houston. His last win was in Arizona, Tucson. Now, Holman, who opened with a strike, has a spare up in the second, shooting in the third. Sharply hooked into the pocket a little high, leaving the 7.
As the ball drives in the pocket, watch the action of the 4 pin, the second pin on the left-hand part of your screen. Bang! Holman hits so solidly, he drives the 4 pin straight back past the 7. Normally the 4 will take out the 7. So Holman, even though he'll have a lead after converting the spare of 15 pins, has not had anything really good happen for him yet.
So Marshall Holman continues to mark. Earlier we had a chance to ask Marshall if he could, what would he change in professional bowling?
Well, I think I'd strive for the same thing the PBA strives for, and that's just more equity between left-handers, right-handers, straight shooters, hookers, and make it a total shot maker's game.
Would you do the same, Bo?
I agree. That's what all of bowling is really going for, letting the cream come to the top, and I believe we have that here at Fairlane's, aptly named Squaw Peak. We got lefties, righties, and the top players.
The long look. Like, why did you do that to me?
Marshall saying how many pins were standing up. I hit that ball, hit that pocket awfully good. Look at his game. Strike, solid 10, solid 7 in the third, and the unusual solid 9 in the 4th frame. Under any normal circumstances, Holman would have 4 strikes in a row. With a conversion here, he'll be working a 198 game.
Okay, 150,000 AMW Pro Bowlers Classic will return after this break.
There are 3 good reasons to try A&W root beer. 1, it's rich, creamy, and delicious. 2, a frosty mug of A&W is a real change of pace from the usual boring soft drinks. 3, you don't buy A&W root beer, I may have to go back to my previous occupation. And pig catching don't pay half as good as advertising. Next time, try yourself an A&W.
Ready for an easy question? Which full-size pickup has been the best-selling pickup for 11 straight years? The tough Ford, not Chevy. And which pickup gives you the biggest standard engine with 12% more torque? Ford, not Chevy. And which pickup gives you a bigger box for the most payload? Ford, not Chevy. And which full-size pickup costs $815 less than its comparably equipped competitor? Ford, not Chevy. Yeah, Ford's standing taller than ever.
Now get a $500 cash bonus from Ford on manual transmission F-Series pickups.
Somehow there's got to be a cure for athlete's foot.
Hey, step up to the mic.
Mike?
Micatin. This cures athlete's foot. It's got something the others don't. Myconazole. There's nothing more powerful.
Yes?
You got something that cures athlete's foot?
Sure, step up to the mic.
Huh?
Micatin. It cures athlete's foot.
Step up to the cure. Step up to the mic. Micatin, also in deodorant spray.
And you're looking at our championship pair.
Chris, the lanes are oiled 17 feet, and the oil is carried down here to about 35 feet this week by the PBA. The right-hand lane a little bit tighter than the left-hand lane, 37 and 38 at Squaw Peak, a 48-lane bowling center. The bowling pins were brand new Sunday, the day of the first Pro-Am, so they have about 400 games on them. They're 3-pound, 8-ounce pins, a little bit tough to knock down, but perfect for pro competition.
Spare up, shooting in the fourth. Sliding by the pocket and leaving the 2-pin for the first time today.
As David Husted was warming up, statistician Palmer Fahlgren noticed he was playing an inside line between the second and third arrows, and just before we went on the air decided to jump outside to this outside line that Holman's playing. And the characteristics of the championship pair from out there are 38 very slick, 37 hooks quite a bit. Husted's got to make an adjustment.
Ooh! Missed it. Second open frame, trailing now by 26 pins. David Husted. Here's a replay.
Carelessness. David Husted, a talented athlete, just grabbed the ball, went up there and figuring he's going to make the 2-pin every time, but every time just went down to one miss every once in a while. Has to get his act together here. He has really given Holman an opening. In fact, if Holman had any breaks at all, Husted would be just about out of the match.
Bouncing right back with a powerful strike in the left lane. Holman with a spare up will be shooting next in the 5th frame with a 26-pin lead. Husted is perplexed. You could see it on his face. Profile replay of Marshall Holman's style.
One of the great styles in the game of bowling. Notice how low he stays all the time, shoulders level, that left arm. Look at the position of the left arm, pulling the left shoulder back, driving the right shoulder through. The long slide, the wrist directly underneath the ball. Absolutely perfect.
And there he is on the left lane. If he can strike now, increase his lead to 36 pins. If is a big word, isn't it?
A very unusual split here. We have the 3, 4, 7, and 10. And what Marshall has to do is drive that 3-pin over into the 4. The ball will take out the 10-pin. As you see it cut right through the middle. The 6-pin will be standing temporarily. It gets knocked out. Look at this shot.
Bo, in 27 years, I don't think on the telecast I've seen that.
No, I've seen it with a 6-pin in. He knocked the 6-pin out.
Yes.
It's very makeable. It'll be exciting if he does it.
So now the first open frame, Marshall Holman, 102 through the 6th, and his lead now is only 10. And that can be changed in a hurry because Husted has a strike up in the 5th, shooting here on the right lane, 6th frame. Trailing by 26. We asked Dave earlier what career he would have pursued if he were not a pro bowler.
Well, I probably would have went to college and tried to get a degree in accounting. The world of finance intrigues me. Hopefully, if I bowl out here for a few more years, I'll have to worry about my finances.
You know, it's the same answer I'd give if somebody asked me that question. I'd want to be a sportscaster, of course, but I'd like to have a degree in accounting.
Not bad. And David averaging, looking at his record in bonuses, probably close to $100,000 a year. Good choice so far. He can take the lead.
3 in a row for the man that looked hopelessly out of it. Husted now is in the lead by 10. We'll be back with more of this first game.
Budweiser and Bud Light join with USA Today to give baseball fans something new. Now, for the first time, you can also pick up an official All-Star fan ballot free wherever you pick up Bud or Bud Light. Vote for your favorite Major League players. Then, test your baseball trivia and win valuable prizes.
Answers are in USA Today every day.
So fans, settle back with a cold Bud or Bud Light. Vote for your favorite All-Stars and be part of a baseball tradition.
Ace is the place.
Ace 7-Star, our best latex flat wall paint, on sale now for just $9.97 a gallon. Hey, quality makes a difference, and at Ace, they've got you covered. Hey, let me tell you, Ace is a painting place for me.
Fixing this water damage will cost $1,200. Could I have prevented it?
You could. Thompson's Water Seal protects wood, brick, and concrete with its special waterproofing formula. Thompson's Water Seal, a great defense against repair expense.
This is David Houston as we were behind Marshall Holman bowled 2 frames, 2 strikes. And he gets 4 in a row, David Houston. Holman had doubled. Strikes in the 7th and 8th. And now we come up to the mighty important 9th frame in our very first game.
Watch the head pin do the work. Here's the head pin, goes to the sideboard. The 2, 8, and 10 all fall out. Unbelievable. He had a split standing, Chris, and ended up with a strike. And right now, the match is still in David Houston's favor by 10 pins.
Foundation frame. There you see his career earnings over 600. This year over 52. Winner today of the A&W Fairlanes, 27. Stone 5 after opening with a strike. 2 open frames and a spare. What a comeback now with the double up 9th frame, Marshall Holman. Answering the challenge.
One of the great releases of all time. Now watch the position of Marshall's hand and wrist. See how he curls that wrist behind the ball. Now watch as he comes through. See that hand behind the ball, the wrist breaking right up through the ball. Most amateurs try to get a hook by going over the top of the ball. It's the same as golf. You go over the top of the golf ball, you don't get the results as driving down under through it. So now Holman with a chance to even the match with a strike here in the 10th.
Left lane. Now he is pumped. Marshall Holman.
What a terrific break Marshall gets. Watch the 3rd pin on the left-hand part of your screen. It's going to the sideboard. There's the 2 pin. Here it goes. See, it goes to the left sideboard. Now drive out the 4. The 4 topples over. The 6 comes from behind and gets a 9 pin. The match is all even. We have a possible tie.
Last win this year in Florida for Houston. His last win in Tucson in 1986. What action on the pin.
Watch the head pin. Watch the head pin. Left sideboard. Here it is. The 10 pin standing. Here comes the head pin flying back. The power of Holman and what we said earlier. The low humidity out here in Arizona allows those pins to stay very lively.
Low humidity, lots of sunshine. Supposed to reach 100 degrees here in the Phoenix area today, but it is dry and beautiful.
If Holman strikes here, he'll finish with 222.
Stringing 6 at the very end. His opponent, David Houston, with 5 in a row. 10th frame for Houston coming up.
The final score of Marshall Holman does not reflect how well he bowled the game. He threw 11 balls solid in the pocket. 1 errant frame, the 6, 222. But he leaves for Houston. David Houston must strike in the 10th and 11th frames to win. Anything less, he loses.
Well, it's a tough break for the man that had strung 5 after starting wobbly. And there's a man, Marshall Holman, that will go against non-winner Rod Pasteur after this. The Professional Bowlers Tour is being brought to you by A&W Root Beer. So sit back and pour yourself an A&W in regular and diet. By Micotin. It cures athlete's foot. Step up to the mic. And by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. We'll be back after this message and a word from our local stations.
Why do they call it heartburn? When it's me, your stomach, that's hurting. When antacids don't stop the pain from coming back, it could be an ulcer. It's okay, because there are treatment programs to help heal ulcers. If you think you have an ulcer, go see your doctor and ask about the available treatment programs. Sponsored by SmithKline and French, the ulcer experts. You could make your stomach very happy.
There are 3 good reasons to try A&W root beer. 1, it's rich and delicious. 2, it's a great change of pace. 3, you don't buy it, I may have to go back to my old job. Pig catching.
Chicken fillet burgers really drive me wild. They made real special, their own style.
Now Hawaii, get the unbeatable original recipe taste in the new chicken filet burgers from Kentucky Fried Chicken. They'll drive you wild.
Saturday on an ABC movie special, it's Disney's Adventure Classic.
Pirates on the beach.
Swiss Family Robinson.
Here's Mike Albee, 1985's Bowler of the Year. Tell us, Mike, what's your bowling secret?
No secrets, but the right shoes help. I wear Lin's, the Pro Tour leader.
Aren't Lin's expensive?
Not these. Now there's a Lin shoe for you. The Championship Series. The same quality construction, fit, and feel as a Lin Classic, but at a lower price.
Drop by and have your ball professionally drilled by PBA pros Dennis Hamamoto or Stephen Miller. That's Bowlers and Billiards Warehouse, Hawaii's largest inventory of bowling and billiard supplies. Bowling, billiards. For your individual or family sports entertainment, try bowling or billiards. And the place to get your equipment is at Bowlers and Billiards Warehouse, where you'll find Hawaii's largest inventory of bowling and billiard supplies. Our billiards division offers Hawaii's largest showroom of billiard tables, with sales and service by factory-trained professionals. So drop by and meet our billiard professionals, Cash Mitsuda and Neil Nizoy. That's Bowlers and Billiards Warehouse, Hawaii's largest inventory of bowling and billiard supplies.
We're for Hawaii.
The incredible Marshall Holman at the very end, stringing 6 strikes to defeat David Houston, 222 to 199. Houston, $5,000 for finishing 5th. Now, Rod Pasteur steps in. Born in Ocala, Florida, moved to Miami when he was 10. He goes against 33-year-old Marshall Holman. And as we indicated, 21 PBA championships, 2 U.S. Opens, and a Firestone. So this is quite an assignment for Pasteur, who bowls well enough to meet the challenge. High hit, and there you see the 2, 3, 4, 6.
Chris, and once again, Holman gets one of those weird splits, and he has to get the ball over to the right side of the 3-pin, and right in here, slide the 3 over into the 4, hopefully taking out the 7. This is the one bad shot he had in his first game. Let's see if he learned anything by that last shot.
3, 4, 6, 7. All but the 4. Immediately, Pasteur.
He thought he had it. Watch the 3-pin. It just barely slivers behind the 4-pin. Holman says, wow, I had it. Why are you standing? Now, Rod Pasteur.
And from that left side, a powerful shot, leaving the 7. This 5'9", 150-pounder, 27 years old, 16,000 plus earned thus far this year. College graduate, Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, business degree. You enjoy watching left-handers. This is the first of two. Our tournament leader, Big Steve Cook, also bowls from that side.
Rod Pasteur using a soft-shelled urethane ball for his first shot and a hard-shelled urethane ball to convert to spares. Uses the full grip, working from the left side.
So spare strike for Rod Pasteur.
Rod Pasteur entering that 1-2 pocket from the left side. Watch the action on the 7-pin. The 4-pin just sneaks by, taps out the 7. The 5 taps out the 9. A strike.
Crossing over and leaving the 3-6 on the right lane, Holman.
Two different styles here. Marshall Holman, the epitome of power and control. Rod Pasteur, completely a control player, uses speed, touch, and angle to adjust to the lanes. Holman, the power and a lot of feel. And right now, the first two shots by Holman in game 2 have been way offline.
And there, chops the 6 off the 3.
You know,
seen a little of everything today.
I agree, Chris. And, you know, I think some of it is Marshall Holman has been the championship round so many times. He's relaxed out there, just defeated a tough opponent in a very tight match, David Husted. Just picks up the ball and says, hey, I can make the 3-6. I do it every single time. And all of a sudden, a slight mistake, and he trails by 22 pins.
After 2 open frames, comes right back with a strike in the 3rd. Increases lead now. Rod Pasteur, Miami, Florida, to 32 with a strike here. They're leader by 32. Earlier, we asked Rod why he wears a brace on his left arm.
Well, Bo, back in 1985, just before I was getting ready to come out on tour, I pulled a muscle in my arm, and I guess the wristband, what it does for me is that it keeps all the muscles together and it prevents injury, and it enabled me to be able to compete, and I wear it now just as a preventive measure.
And a little goal on the opposite wrist.
Helps prevent the tendonitis now to take a 42-pin lead with another strike.
Rod Pasteur, a non-winner, has strung 3 to take a commanding lead here in our second game. We'll be back.
Somehow there's got to be a cure for athlete's foot.
Hey, step up to the mic.
Mike?
Micatin. This cures athlete's foot. It's got something the others don't. Myconazole. There's nothing more powerful.
Yes?
You got something that cures athlete's foot?
Sure, step up to the mic.
Huh?
Micatin. It cures athlete's foot.
Step up to the cure. Step up to the mic. Micatin, also in deodorant spray.
There's a level of performance that separates the good from the great. That's why Carmen Salvino designed the Ebonite Thunderbolt. The exclusive power core increases gyroscopic action for a sharper hook on heavy oil. And the Thunderbolt rolls farther before hooking, so it hits harder for less deflection and more striking power. The difference between good and great is the power of the Thunderbolt.
One of the giants in the bowling industry from Baltimore, Wally Hall, President, Chief Executive Officer of Fairlanes, over 100 establishments spaced everywhere, including here.
And his right-hand man, there's Steve Friedberg, and just to his left, Alan Smith, the proprietor here at Fairlanes Squaw Peak. Wonderful people, and they run a very large chain of bowling centers throughout the United States. I believe they're up to about 115, 20 centers. Good operation.
Here's a great bowler. But he is trailing by 42. 2 opens and a strike. Now in the 4th. And it just did not come up. So the 2 sleeper 8 and the 10.
What you see is the right-hand lane, just the Marshall's ball sliding by the what we call the oil or conditioner. We said it was applied 36 feet on the lane today. The ball is carrying it farther down the lane as the competition goes on. Holman's not getting the break he needs, and he's got big, big trouble.
So he has bowled in 4 frames in the second game after a victory in the first. 222 to 199 over David Houston, and he has 3 opens. 46 through the 4th for Holman. This intense competitor has to be burning. There you see the money winners. Look at him, Marshall. If he can go beyond 4th, he can go over 100,000 again, which he would have done for the 8th time record.
And Emiliano Monticelli rounds out the top 10 at a little better than 50 grand. Now, Rod Pasteur, 3 strikes in a row, 54-pin lead can extend to 64.
Well, incredible from the left side.
Just smooth as can be. Rod Pasteur with this nice delivery, 5 steps, controls the lane with just speed, angle, precision, down low, just a perfect finishing shot. Notice that left hand snapping through the ball, but everything under control.
Good temperament to go with it.
Yes, he does. Wonderful young man. Can just about put the match out of the woods here in the 6th frame with another strike. 74 pins would be the lead.
Then we see a 3-4.
And you see Rod kind of extolling himself. He says, hey, what did I do with that left elbow? He went over the top of the ball, didn't throw it hard enough, and now he leaves the 4, 6, 7, 10. Has given Holman just a little glimmer with that open frame.
Leaving the 4-7 off the 6-10. So it's his first open, coming in the 6th. 27-year-old Rod Pasteur.
Holman with a couple of strikes can make Pasteur think right here.
Leaving a 10.
A shot that brought Holman to victory in the first match over Houston. The head pin coming off the sideboard and wiping out the 10 pin does not happen this time. Here's the ball, impacts the head pin, goes to the sideboard. Now the head pin can come back across and give him some help. Not to be. Got caught up with the 4 and 5 pins. Holman in trouble.
Just as Nick the 10. Meanwhile, our tournament leader Steve Cook is warming up. Thus you hear the pin fall.
Holman a possible, let's look at this quickly, 86-206. Pasteur going at a 212 pace. It behooves Holman to throw strikes from here on out.
And a 7 pin now on the left lane.
Well, not much to say about it. Looks like Marshall's throwing in the towel. He's still trying, but he is very realistic about his chances. Nothing going very well for him in this game. Rod Pasteur in the driver's seat, 47-pin lead.
Marshall, his 3rd television appearance this year. We'll be back.
The big Q stands for quality. In Quaker State's 11,000 RPM Porsche, in Ricky Rudd's high-torque Buick, clean-running Quaker State with QSX gives them unbeatable protection from wear and tear.
And it's the same Quaker State you buy right off the shelf.
Quaker State, the big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Quaker State leads the pack again. Introducing the Easy Flow bottle. It pours smoother than other leading oils. Quaker State, unbeatable protection in a better pouring bottle. No one else has it.
Every day, Jack Taylor and Joe Donovan take the same road home. But today, they went a little out of their way.
Give you a hand.
Here's to you, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood aged Budweiser.
This Bud's.
For all the guys who go out of their way.
This Bud's for you.
Next week on ABC Sports, Pro Bowling Spring Tour keeps on rolling. Next stop, California for the Fresno Open. Next Saturday on ABC Sports.
Philip Ringener will meet the winner of our second match, Marshall Holman, just bowling in the 8th frame. And he left the 10-pin comments to the crowd. It was very exciting. Not really, because his opponent, Pasteur, has doubled while we were away, running behind our 90-minute time limit. So he has a 58-pin lead. Pasteur. There in the 8th for Marshall Holman. Well, one good thing is happening to his family today. His mom and 4 other ladies back in Oregon taking part in a very neat religious ceremony, Bo.
Yes, the Bas Mitzvah. And normally a Jewish girl will get her Bas Mitzvah when she's 12, 13 years age. Bar Mitzvah for the boys. Marshall's mother at a little older age finally doing it. Congratulations. And her son will be home, that's for sure, because this is his last game this afternoon. I believe he has an early flight out.
He does.
Marshall Holman, the best he can roll, 173. Rod Pasteur is just how much he's going to win the match by, a possible 252. And if you like fireballers, wait till Phil Ringener gets out here in the next semifinal match.
Well, it appears that Marshall today will only pick up 6,000, will not reach the 100,000 yet. But it's early in 1988. The 1987 Bowler of the Year, Marshall Holman, watching Rod Pasteur, who strung 4. Now he has a double shooting in the 9th. Well, Rod Pasteur has pulled a big upset here in the A&W Open here at Fairlanes by defeating Marshall Holman. Ringener is Pasteur's next opponent. Today's Old Spice Tip of the Week is brought to you by Old Spice, the clean, classic scent men love.
One of the most overlooked pieces of equipment by the amateur bowler in our sport is the bowling shoes. And there's a major difference between the rental shoes that an amateur may use and the custom shoes that a professional bowler uses. This week we're going to take a look at the sliding foot. And there's a big difference right here. On the rental shoes, the shoes are made for both left-handers and right-handers. But the custom shoe is made with a special sliding sole on the sliding foot. This can either be perforated or solid, like this particular shoe. The purpose this sliding sole serves is it makes the approaches, whether they're synthetic approaches or wood approaches, makes them very similar. It also makes the sticky approach and the slippery approach easy to handle for the amateur or professional player. And finally, the heel. The custom shoes have a nice hard rubber heel. You won't leave a sticky piece of rubber on the approach, and you'll be balanced when you hit the foul line. Next week, we're going to take a look at the traction foot on the custom shoes.
What kind of man whistled the Old Spice tune?
He's my daddy.
My practically perfect husband.
You can count on him.
He's the captain of my ship.
He's a friend.
The Old Spice man, a man's man.
Clean, refreshing Old Spice. It's the favorite scent of the American man, and he'll never change his tune.
And I love him for it.
Old Spice.
Now let Bo help you score even more. You'll also fix problems, improve strategy, and practice smarter with Bo Burton's new bowling video.
This video is for you.
ABC Sports and Old Spice bring you Bo Burton's new instructional video, Score More. Just $24.98 plus $3 shipping. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
Can you believe that? An 83-pin victory non-winner Rod Pasteur over 21-time champion Marshall Holman. 8 strikes for Pasteur, $6,000 for Holman. Pasteur moves up against another non-winner from Big Springs, Texas, Philip Ringener. 160 started here earlier in the week.
Pretty good numbers. 207 average. That's for the whole field of 160 players. 217 average to make the top 24. There were 5 perfect games rolled this week. And here are some of our other top finishers to rounding it out. Bob Hanley made a charge, and he wants to say hi to Sue Perkins, the girl that got him started in the sport of bowling. As you look at some of these other names, backing up to Hanley, said that Sue's kind of sick, and he wishes her well. There's Voss in there, Rod Palumbi, Pete Weber up and down all week. Sam Macaron had a perfect game. Eric Forkel, a tough lefty. Ferraro, we all know him. John Mazda won $50,000 earlier as a bonus this year. My old buddy Sutar, the doubles partner. Bob Benoit, the 300-man. Baker, Murdishaw, and J.D. Means round out the top 24. Some of the other cashers in 53rd place, Henry Gonzalez with $820. Palmer Falgren, 47th, $880.
All right, that's our next match. Philip Ringener, a Texan, Rod Pasteur from Florida. The A&W Pro Bowlers Classic will be back after this commercial message.
At this spa, the rich and rotund pay big bucks to be put on diets that would not satisfy the smallest critter. They should try Diet A&W Root Beer. It's rich and creamy, but only 1 calorie. Who'll give me $100 for this Diet A&W?
This man is twice as strong as this man. Tom's EX is twice as strong as Rolaids. So when you have heartburn, get the extra strength and acid. Tom's EX, twice as strong as Rolaids.
For great personal service and low everyday prices, check the lineup at your neighborhood True Value hardware store, where the May hardware value of the month is this Polynex Dial Massage Shower Head. It's designed to save water and energy, and its exclusive spray control lets you dial 4 patterns, from a bracing cascade to a soothing rainfall. Get the Polynex Dial Massage Shower Head for just $9.88, where you see the banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
There's no office politics here. Now when something opens up, I know I'll get a fair shot.
Union, yes.
I'm taking time off for my baby. And it's good to know my job will be safe.
Say union, yes.
Imagine the questions our kids will have when they start to work. The world is changing, and our unions give us a voice in how things change.
America works best when we say union, yes.
The pain was awful. I hurt all over. The doctor said nothing was broken. He gave me a different medicine. It's in these little yellow pills. Nuprin. Got rid of that pain. Know what else? It works great on my tough headaches.
Nuprin. It's not aspirin, not Tylenol. It's ibuprofen. 2 Nuprins stop headaches better than extra-strength Tylenol.
And Nuprin's gentler on my stomach than aspirin.
Nuprin. Little, yellow, different, better.
It even worked on my worst pain.
Well, there they are, 2 non-winners. A Texan, Floridian. Man that will shoot first with that red bowling ball, Rod Pasteur, eliminated Marshall Holman, 231 to Holman's 148. Hard to believe, isn't it?
Pasteur, one of the most consistent players this year on the PBA Tour. 7 top 24 finishes in his first 15 tournaments.
And so he has opened up on the left lane with the 2-4-7. See how the lefty will shoot that, as his parents have flown in from Miami. There you see Reginald and Gloria Pasteur. Nice people. They've been with us before. And his roommate, George Brabham. George will approve of that shot by his roomie and doubles partner. And in 2 weeks, Bo will be in Las Vegas for the PBA doubles.
The Showboat Doubles, interesting format that we have not seen on ABC TV for years. You will see pros bowling as partners, a little bit different action, a lot of psychology to it, and a lot of choosing on who should throw what ball when. Exciting. Now, Ringener, the fire baller. Let's see how he does.
A big crank, 215-pounder from Big Springs. That's out toward Midland, Texas. Philip Ringener.
Midland, Texas. He knows where the North Texas oil fields are. He's saying inflation's coming back and oil prices are going up. Somebody's got to like it.
Is that a tip? 5
I
pen.
don't know. That's a reality.
Okay. Ringener is 5'11", 215, 29 years old, PBA member 9 years. On television, this is his 5th appearance. He is 0-4, but he's had a big average thrown against him in those games.
Unbelievable. Phil Ringener, 0-4, Chris said, has averaged 231. His opponents, for their 4 games, 257. He hopes something good will happen today.
Powerful strike. Second frame after a spare for Ringener. Pasteur marked with a spare if you just joined us, and he is here in the semifinal game because he defeated Marshall Holman. Marshall had, in the first match, defeated David Houston 222 to 199. The tournament leader, as the parents applaud, Steve Cook, has really been working hard on his game, practicing as he's doing right now. You hear the pin fall. And he was back here a while ago watching Pasteur. He feels that will be the opponent, and we hope you'll be watching the 113th Preakness Stakes. Bo, the run for the Black-Eyed Susan.
It's going to be exciting. With a little rain out there, it's up for anybody's grabs. Now Pasteur to take an early lead. The match is even.
Really grooved today, that left-hander. Ringener now is up. He was shooting in the 3rd with a strike. His largest paycheck was $8,250 for second in the Austin Open. $2,458 for Ringener.
The dinner bucket and the right-hand lane has been the difference for many of the players today. It was the downfall of David Houston. It started Holman and his backward skid, and once again we see Phil Ringener coming out hitting light on lane 38.
All right, Ringener, not one on television. What does he have to change to do it?
Well, I'm not going to try to change anything. I'm going to try to still be as aggressive as I always have been and try not to make any mistakes and take one shot at a time. I feel like I've been bowling great on TV and just hadn't got any breaks.
Yes, 2 one-pin losses. Like 249 to 248 and 244 to 243.
And both of those could have been tie matches. In the 248 loss, he got 9 on his last ball. His opponent a strike. In the 243 loss, he got 6 on the last ball. So he'll be close.
And then faced with a 9-pin, at which he looks for a long time.
Remember Holman looking at the 9-pin in the first match T-bowled. And now watch the action of the ball as it enters the 1 and 3 pocket. Now the ball should deflect off the 5 into the 9. Not so. The powerful urethane bowling ball rolled by Ringener just chops the 5 straight off the 9.
Unbelievable speed. He covers the 9. We're in our semifinal match, 1 to go. More of it following this.
Now's the time to buy a home because Century 21 offices are opening doors for you. It's our Century 21 open house weekend.
This weekend, we're opening doors all over the area to homes you can afford.
And Century 21 offices are selling more homes than anyone else.
Now's the time to buy a home. So come on in.
Number 1 to work for you. Century 21.
Call your local Century 21 broker for details of our open house weekend.
Wherever wheels are rolling, no matter what the load, the name that's known is Firestone.
Our most popular radio, the Firestone 721, keeps on rolling. 68 million have rolled through hometowns like yours. Now, get the lowest prices of the year during our gigantic 721 sale. See your participating Firestone retailer and save on the 721 today.
Tomorrow, NASCAR's top drivers go wheel to wheel, ending in a daring 10-lap shootout for $200,000. It's the Winston live. Then, on Mutual of Omaha's Spirit of Adventure, Peggy Fleming and host Jim Fowler uncover Africa's poaching wars. All tomorrow on ABC Sports.
A close semifinal match. 11 pins separating Rod Pasteur, about ready to shoot, and his opponent, Philip Ringener. Pasteur with a double-up shooting in the fourth. Careful placement on the approach.
Looks very steady so far. The main thing he has to do is keep his speed consistent. Don't get fast, don't get slow.
He's doing just that. 8 strikes in his victory over Holman. Now a 3-bagger and a 21-pin lead.
See the pins from a low angle into the 1-2 pocket. You see the left-hander's ball driving through the 5 and 8 pins. And you know, Chris, Rod's ball reminds me much of the great Earl Anthony's. It's very smooth, methodical. He works the lane, doesn't try to overpower anything. Depends on steady nerves and accuracy and precision lane playing. Now he can take a 31-pin lead.
Like Anthony, it seems that the ball is on a remote radio controlled system, breaking sharply at the end, just unbelievably accurate.
And it goes through the pins in seems like such a gentle manner that the ball goes all the way through the pins. The pins are still standing, and it's like a vortex behind an airplane. It just kind of sucks the pins right off with the ball.
Spare up Ringener now, using the full approach, shooting in the 5th. Plagued with a 10-pin on the right lane.
Phil Ringener, 5-step delivery, just really good arm swing and a real high backswing, and then the long arms and a good hard snap. And of course, he's worked on his footwork a little bit, but not the way it should be. Still a little bit sideways at the line. Look out.
Error.
Well, that's what we're talking about. You know, in the bowling tip we talked about the footwork. We just saw the replay of Phil Ringener's footwork, and here we see him sliding off to the right. And what happens is when your feet or your sliding foot goes away from your body, in other words, you open the hips up too much, you lose leverage, you lose accuracy, and you normally leave the ball out to the right. It happened right there on the spare. Ringener in real trouble.
Tough break. That was a high hit. 6 toppling. So now you can try again at the 10, but on the left lane.
Phil Ringener, with that tremendous speed, over 20 miles an hour, is a very steady player. Doesn't get in too much trouble.
Okay. Spare for Phil as his wife Jill looks on. They're parents of 1 little honey named Tiffany.
Now Pasteur can really put Ringener in trouble. As we said, Ringener's opponents in the first 4 championship rounds appearances have averaged 257. Pasteur looks like he may add to that average.
4 in a row, bringing about a big smile.
You know, what's happening to Ringener, it reminds me of what happened to Pete McCordick most of his career. McCordick, also from Texas, who rolled the perfect game last year in Los Angeles to get the True Value Hardware $100,000 bonus. He always had the unluckiness, I guess you could say, of having opponents bowl tremendous against him. I remember McCordick had a 290 bowl against him, a 279, a 299, and looks like Pasteur is going to continue that string against Ringener.
at that. 6 big ones in a row for Rod Pasteur. We're in Navajo and Hopi country, Phoenix, Arizona.
A&W, the root beer people, have a cream soda. Naturally, they wanted a star of the first magnitude to introduce it. Luckily, I was available. This A&W cream soda has such old-style creamy taste, it's amazing. In fact, one sip made me wax so nostalgic for the old days, I had all my childhood buddies come visit me in Hollywood. Hi, buddies. A&W cream soda, regular or diet?
Something unexpected will tear Peggy Moore away from her gardening. Pain. Her body's not as limber as it used to be, and even a simple move can slow her down. That's why her next move is to Metaprin. Metaprin has the same medicine as Motrin, and nothing's proven faster for relief of back pain or any kind of pain. It's also gentler to your stomach than aspirin. Metaprin works fast when you haven't got time for the pain.
Next week on ABC Sports, Pro Bowling Spring Tour keeps on rolling. Next stop, California for the Fresno Open. Next Saturday on ABC Sports.
There's the big left-hander tournament leader, Steve Cook, waiting to meet the winner of the Pasteur-Ringener match. Running behind our schedule, we bowled through. Now shooting his 4th 10-pin in a row, Bill Ringener. And he's trailing by 65 pins. Rod Pasteur, who's up, Bo, with an 83-pin victory over Marshall Holman a little bit ago. High averages led by Mark Roth.
And you see some of the other top 5, 216. I tell you what, the scoring on the PBA Tour this year, I just like it, Chris. It's very professional. The scores are not real high like they were, say, in the late 70s, and they're not real low like we had in the middle 80s. The PBA is doing a great job.
He opened with a spare. Now through 8 frames, 7 strikes in a row. A 75-pin lead, Nelson.
New statistics being created. I have the largest margin of victory was 126 pins as a victory of Durbin over Larry Lobb in Dublin, California in 1984, 279 to 153. But now Pasteur has a chance to set his own new margin of victory record for 2 consecutive games. He had 83-pin win last game, and he has a 75-pin lead now. Can extend to 85.
In convincing fashion, non-winner Rod Pasteur has put back-to-back victories, which vaults him into the final match against left-hander Steve Cook.
This is the all-new Pontiac Grand Prix. Motor Trend called its advanced design squarely in step with the 90s. They said its spectacular interior produced a driving environment second to none. They said where the new Grand Prix really stands out is its handling. They liked it so much, they named it the 1988 Motor Trend Car of the Year, the hot new Pontiac Grand Prix.
What harm can a little water do? That's why there's Rust-Oleum. We put our own exclusive ingredients in to keep moisture out. So if it's going to get wet, get Rust-Oleum.
A&W, the root beer people, have a cream soda with such old-style creamy taste. Just one sip made me wax so nostalgic. I invited all my childhood buddies to Hollywood. Hi, buddies.
Torn between her surrogate mother and her natural father.
So what do we do? Cut her in half?
I want my daughter back. Based on a true story.
No!
Baby M, tomorrow.
Oh, hi there. Say, you know, I've really gotten into bowling, as you can see. It's lots of fun, and you don't need a bunch of fancy equipment. The nice folks at Windward, Leeward, and Cleehey Bowl have everything you need. It's great exercise and so inexpensive that you can treat the gang to a sandwich at the snack bar. You're gonna love bowling, so why don't you drop in?
The Harley-Davidson legend. a distinct signature in a world full of imitations. Harley-Davidson, a motorcycling legend. See your Hawaii Harley-Davidson dealer.
We're for Hawaii.
This is Jim McKay live at Pimlico. These two men, the trainer and owner of Winning Colors, are wandering along with a crowd of more than 80,000. Can she do it? Can Winning Colors become the first of her sex ever to win 2 legs of the Triple Crown? The great crowd has gathered. The track has been upgraded from muddy to good. Could conceivably be fast by race time. Now back to you, Chris.
Will a thoroughbred win by as much as Pasteur has here this afternoon? 105-pin victory over Phil Ringener after 83-pin win over Marshall Holman. Bo, records.
188 pins, Chris, and earlier I had a couple of messages on the Ask Bo, and here's one with a little levity to it. Watch this. Today's Ask Bo question comes from Patty Sisk of East Detroit, Michigan, and it goes like this. Dear Bo, my husband was bowling in league, and the ball stuck on his thumb. He continued his follow-through. He fell over the foul line, but he never released the ball. Is this considered a foul? Well, the answer is no. ABC regulations, American Bowling Congress regulations say, unless you release the ball and it touches on the lane surface and you pass over the foul line, it is not a foul. If you have an Ask Bo question, write me at Ask Bo, Post Office Box 217, Ansonia Station, New York, New York, 10023.
Okay, Ask Bo. And it's been a while since we've had an all left-handed final on the Professional Bowlers Tour.
That's indeed true, Chris, and really a comparison in styles. The big guys, Steve Cook, 6 feet 7 inches tall, 270 pounds, against Rod Pasteur, the man who is just all lane control, speed, and accuracy. And, you know, going back to that Ask Bo shot, Chris, have you ever thrown one where the ball never came off your thumb?
No. I've gone down the lane, but the ball did as well. I was going to ask, how did he recover after back surgery?
That's about it.
It's a tough break, isn't it? But here now, after practicing on the part of 27-year-old Rod Pasteur, he had 9 strikes in his last victory, 8 in the previous win. And this is a rematch of the 1986 Austin Open where Cook beat Pasteur 189 to 180. It was the last win for Big Steve and the best PBA finish for Pasteur, second.
Rod Pasteur has been in the winner's circle before, but not at the pro level. He has a tremendous amateur record. He won the Georgia All Events 1984. He's bowled and had success in amateur levels in the famous Hoinke tournament, the Southern Match Game tournament, but never has he been in this position, bowling 1 game for his first PBA title, $27,000 and a trip to the Firestone.
Converted the split, fortunately for him, as he now today is going against the 2nd United States Open champion, defeating Holman.
If there was any doubt if he's going to be tentative with the shot, look at this. He almost leaves an 8-10 split, overpowered the rack. Bad break for Rod Pasteur, but an easy spare to start with, Chris.
Now, 265 pounds, 6'7" Steve Cook, looking for his first victory in 2 years. He has 12 titles in an 11-year career, winning his first in Alameda in 1979. Well, he left a 3-5 on the right lane.
You may ask, what makes a good left-handed condition or good right-handed condition? And the answer was very simple here. I interviewed all 5 players before we went on the air, and the left-hander said, you know, lane 37 and 38 here at Squaw Peak is a equal pair. Both lanes react the same, where the right-handers, as we saw, had trouble with lane 38, and it's just how the boards are put in the lane. There's a few hard boards on the right side of lane 38, made it a little bit more difficult for the right-handers. 2 lefties for the title.
All right. coming up quickly. And taking out the 3-5. Steve Cook, match all even after one frame. They're bowling for $27,000 to the winner. The man that finishes second, $14,000. The red ball of Pasteur and the black ball of Steve Cook.
Rod just looking at his clock. Takes about 15 minutes to win a title match, Rod.
Steve, after all his practice, wondering why he can't get them all with one shot, leaving a 3-pin.
The wide sweeping hook of Steve Cook. Out too wide, leaves the 3-pin, and if one thing Steve Cook has to guard against is being a little bit careless with spares. We saw Houston go by one, we saw Holman go by one, but this man here has had some problems with single pin spares in championship rounds. He just has to be careful.
Now Pasteur ready. Marshall Holman defeated David Houston in our first game, 222 to 199, and then Pasteur over Holman, 231 to 148, then over Ringener, 278 to 173. Spare up, second frame. 18th strike of the afternoon. Reginald and Gloria, his parents.
Have to be all pretty proud of Rod's performance so far, but the one thing you have to really consider when you have a person who's never been in the winner's circle, Rod Pasteur, going against an experienced veteran Steve Cook, who really can perform in the clutch, is when do they start looking forward to that 10th frame, try to win the match by hoping it instead of bowling it. You have to bowl one ball at a time. If Rod can do that, he will not beat himself here. The only opponent he would have would be Cook.
Starting another string now, as he did in the previous game, where he opened with a spare and then 9 in a row. So Steve Cook, with a pair of spares, will be shooting in the third as he returns the glove to that left hand. Tomorrow on ABC, Oldsmobile presents the Winston stock car race. This is really fascinating. What competition? 19 of NASCAR's finest go wheel to wheel, live except on the West Coast. Then on Mutual of Omaha's Spirit of Adventure, Peggy Fleming joins host Jim Fowler as they explore the plight of the black rhinoceros and elephant in Africa's poaching war. It all begins at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central and Pacific, tomorrow right here on ABC. Stock car racing, the finest. Nope.
Steve Cook a little out of sync. I watched him warmed up. He warmed up, he struggled, then he quit for about 15 minutes, which is a good idea. Then he came back and warmed up a little bit more. Never really got in sync. I've watched his first 3 shots here. He's either too fast or too slow. Steve Cook, normally when he's bowling very well, takes his first 2 steps very slowly, gets a little more momentum in that 3rd step, and then just rips the cover off the ball through that pivot step and sliding step. Sometimes you just can't put it together. Bowling is very much like a baseball pitcher. You can warm up. You don't know what you have until the game starts. Let's see if Cook can turn it around.
Next week, we are in Fresno, California. Right now, let's get an answer to the question, what problems do big men find in bowling?
I'd say the biggest problem for me is keeping my knees strong, because the main thing for me is to make sure I get a good deep knee bend. And for a big guy, that's important, but you also got to keep your knees strong so you keep it in good shape.
6'7", 265 pounds. 3 spares, 4th frame. So we'll keep an eye on the big man now, going against Rod Pasteur. You'll see it right after this.
Budweiser and Bud Light join with USA Today to give baseball fans something new. Now, for the first time, you can also pick up an official All-Star fan ballot free wherever you pick up Bud or Bud Light. Vote for your favorite Major League players. Then, test your baseball trivia and win valuable prizes.
Answers are in USA Today every day.
So fans, settle back with a cold Bud or Bud Light. Vote for your favorite All-Stars and be part of a baseball tradition.
Ace is the place.
Ace 7-Star, our best latex flat house paint. On sale now for just $10.99 a gallon. Hey, quality makes a difference. And at Ace, they've got you covered. Hey, let me tell you, Ace is a painting place for me.
Savages? Nah, guys with irritated skin from shaving. Try new Aqua Velva Skin Conditioning Aftershave. Hey, it's creamy. Guys prefer its soothing formula.
And fragrance. There's something about new Aqua Velva Skin Conditioning Aftershave.
We're back at the Fairlanes capacity crowd for the A&W Pro Bowlers Classic. Rod Pasteur has been the sensation of our competition this afternoon. 2 victories. He's looking for his first win, going against a 12-time champion, including the 1986 United States Open, Steve Cook. Here's Pasteur. Double up. Coming up high, leaving the 4-6-10.
Just too soft. Rod Pasteur just kind of sitting around saying, hey, I've never been behind in a match all day today. I can get another big lead. Just what we call babied the ball down there too slowly. Ball drifts high. He's got trouble.
After a double, an open frame, 75 through 4.
And as Frank Esposito, our television coordinator, always says, the game is now on. 2 pins separate these 2 players. And there's a man who's been to the winner's circle 11 times. A man who has never even bowled this game before. Tell you what, Chris, with today's urethane bowling balls, you very seldom see a pocket hit leave a pocket-type back row split. 7-9 for a left-hander, as you see Rod Pasteur has, or an 8-10 for a righty. Rod just has to get it together now. That's 2 tough frames.
After leading, now trailing by 13, and that can go to 23 as Cook has a strike up shooting in the 5th. And the spring tour continues. This is our first of 3 with the Fresno Open. Look forward to going there.
Cedar Lane's one of the really good houses that we bowled in before in the tour. Has always been a high-scoring bowling center. A great friend of mine, great baseball player affiliated with that area, Gus Zernial. I'm sure you remember him, Chris.
Certainly do.
40 home runs in the National League, 40 home runs in the American League. I think the only one to ever do it.
Later, takes advantage of 2 miscues by Pasteur. He doubles and leads by 23. Replay.
Big Steve Cook, he smells an opening. He slows that approach down. Now watch, he gets real aggressive. Look at that high backswing. Now look at that pivot step, that left foot planted. He really drives down. Look at the wrist action. By far his best shot. He's playing the inside line on the right-hand lane, and I think he's playing a little bit farther out on the left-hand lane. He took advantage of what Pasteur has given him. He can extend to 33 pins his lead. 6th frame.
Leaving a 2-pin on the left lane, Steve Cook.
What makes a good pro bowler? Whenever you watch championship professional bowling, you're seeing the best players bowling their best. Now, Steve Cook is off today, and this is what allows players to get there. We bowl for 4 solid days before the championship round, and everybody's not sharp every day. It's the player who can do what Cook is doing now, be a little bit off, and still stay in competition, stay in the hunt.
All right. Steve Cook, who has won with his brother-in-law, Mike Albee, in doubles competition.
Mike Albee. Mike Albee right now, Chris, is down there taking photographs with all the rest of the photographers, checking out his brother-in-law's action.
After 2 opens, Pasteur back with a strike in the 6th. A lot of fans here rooting for this non-winner. His doubles partner, George Brabham III, watching from behind. And, of course, 2 weeks from this week, they will be competing in the Showboat doubles that will be bringing the finals on television. There's George behind his roommate's mom, Gloria. And there's Steve Cook's father scratching his neck, Les Cook.
For Rod Pasteur, trailing by 22, the time is right now.
And again, gets the 2-4-7.
You could see him pull up at the line, a lot of loft on that ball, trying to do a little something extra. Take your time right here, Rod. Make the 2-4-7. Don't be too discouraged. The match is a long way from being over. Cook struggling also, pal.
And the Preakness Stakes on ABC Sports today. Second jewel of racing's Triple Crown, and it's a wonderful event. Will it be a filly? Well, left only 1 pin on the right lane. Cook, who has a 21-pin lead. He's our tournament leader. First game of the day, leaving the 3.
What a great break Cook gets. He has the 3, 5, and 6 pins. That's not only a 7-pin, but a choppable spare. Look at this, a little break from the 6-pin over into the 5-pin. Cook has a simple spare of the 3-pin, and that could be a big difference in a match, because instead of being ahead by 19, it's 21, and that's so important.
David Houston led the first 3 rounds of the competition here at beautiful Fairlanes, and then this man led the 5th and 6th rounds.
The big man, eyes riveted on the target, that cupped wrist, that patented high backswing that so many of the great players of today use. But look at that deep knee bend. You were talking about the tip that Steve Cook gives a big player. Remember the great late Billy Whaley, who sat in this chair next to you for years, Chris? Another big man, always had that great knee bend. So important to the big player. Has to get the ball down and roll it smoothly. Now, Cook, 8th frame.
A Cook car strike. He liked it. So did his dad, Les. Father of 4 children, Steve, and 3 daughters. Now Pasteur. Spare up shooting in the 8th. Rod just gave Cook a glaring glance, like, I still have a few strikes left, Mr. Cook.
Well, that was a big shot. He just hurt the 5-pin there in the 8th frame. But for Rod Pasteur, time is running out. He's kept himself in the match. You can see the 2 big donuts there, the 4th and 5th frames, which had put Rod behind for the first time all day long. But he needs his strike. Cook will not let him off the hook if Rod can't strike here.
Double for Pasteur. With 2 big victories, now battling for his bowling life, looking for his first win against Cook, who is up in the 9th with a strike working.
The psychology of match play, the experienced player against the inexperienced. Cook, for the first time, has felt the pressure of Pasteur in a tight situation. Let's see how he reacts.
5-8 on the right lane for Cook.
Well, in the game of golf, that would be OB. That is about as far as you can miss Steve Cook, and he knows it. He's struggling with his game. He's still in the match. Really a great quality. That's what makes a champion. But he's left himself actually a tough spare here in the 9th frame, a choppable spare for a big football player like Steve Cook. Make sure you hit that 5-pin nice and square so it doesn't chop off to the 8.
You're watching the A&W Pro Bowlers Classic, Fairlanes, Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, my heavens.
Statistician Palmer Fahlgren had already given him a chop on that shot. And you know what happened? Steve, not taking a little bit of experience from somebody else way down the line, should have thrown a hard, straight shot at that, even maybe a backup ball, because you don't shoot that spare very often, but all you have to do is avoid the chop. Now he's dug himself a hole. Pasteur is in the lead, only 1 pin difference. Chris, there could be a tie the way that scoreboard reads.
And Bo, it gets a little closer now to time for an A&W root beer with 2 scoops of ice cream in it. You know it?
That's for me, especially with the warm weather in Phoenix. But the action just picked up here as you look at the overhead scoreboard. The capacity crowd is looking at Cook with a possible 203, possible 193. Anything can happen. It's match game play, but a good possibility of a tie. Cook, trailing by 1, could now take the lead.
Head bowed, looking for his first victory. He's looking for his 13th pro win. Leaving a 7-pin.
That sets the stage with this conversion. Steve Cook, work on your spares, pal. Don't give away this 7-pin. He knows the score. You got to take a little time. I know he's a little bit dejected. He wanted that strike, but he will finish with 193. That would force Rod Pasteur to strike on the first ball in the 10th frame to win. 9 spare and a strike. We would have a tie.
Talk about having confidence in your shot. The speed he put on that ball was incredible.
Chris, for a professional bowler, this is, I would say, you have to say, the ultimate athletic moment.
Yep.
He will live by this shot the rest of his life and could have an effect on his career mentally, financially, the rest of his life. He needs to strike right here to win.
As you saw, it's an awesome leave on the right lane for a man that ran away in his first 2 matches. Oh.
Empathy for this young man. Look at that look on his face. Please don't go high. Steve Cook is the winner.
13th title, still seeking his first. Is this young man from Miami, Rod Pasteur, who thrilled us today, but what a disappointment for him. 193 to 175. The National Bowlers Tour is being brought to you by A&W Cream Soda, by True Value Hardware Stores. It's more than our name, it's our way of doing business. And by Quaker State Motor Oil. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Honey, game's gonna start soon.
I think I'll give the lawn a quick cut.
Good luck.
When you're long on grass and short on time, you need a mower with a Briggs & Stratton engine.
Dad, the pregame show's on!
It'll start quickly and work hard till the job's done.
Sure hope he makes it.
Yes, there he is.
Briggs & Stratton, the power in power equipment.
Why do they call it heartburn when it's me, your stomach, that's hurting? When antacids don't stop the pain from coming back, it could be an ulcer. It's okay, because there are treatment programs to help heal ulcers. If you think you have an ulcer, go see your doctor and ask about the available treatment programs. Sponsored by SmithKline & French, the ulcer experts. You could make your stomach very happy.
It's more effective than the leading men's deodorant. It's been proven better in clinical tests at blocking odor. It's Old Spice Fast Track Wide Deodorant. It blocks odor better.
A&W, the root beer people, have a cream soda with such old-style creamy taste. Just one sip made me wax so nostalgic. I invited all my childhood buddies to Hollywood. Hi, buddies.
And this is the way the money was earned today in the A&W Pro Bowlers Classic at Fairlanes. But the big check went to the man that won his 13th title today, Steve Cook. Never in doubt, right?
It was a lot in doubt. I didn't throw the ball very well today. Rod actually probably bowled a better game, but that's the way it goes sometimes out here.
Gil Thomas is here, A&W root beer with ice cream. That's what we're having next, right, Gil? I think you have a check, and Wally Hall is here.
That's right, Chris. On behalf of A&W Beverages, we're awfully proud to have been able to sponsor this tournament. And, Steve, we'd like to give you this check for $27,000 for being the first place.
Gotta go. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, special edition of ABC's Wide World of Sports. Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge continues with the Preakness Stakes live. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. Once again, Steve Cook.